Remember when Morning Joe, they called Trump a fascist? When Mika Brzezinski said he would destroy democracy? Well, something remarkable just happened at Mar-a-Lago. The same media elites who spent years attacking Trump are now literally kissing the ring. Joe and Mika's pilgrimage to Florida isn't just a meeting, it's a surrender ceremony. But here's what's really fascinating. Even as they grovel, their own network is imploding. Staffers are in revolt. Jen Psaki admits Democrats are in the wilderness. The entire leftist media apparatus is crumbling before our eyes. This, ladies and gentlemen, is what winning looks like. And let's be honest. The mainstream media's weakness is on full display, but unlike them, you don't have to surrender your strength. Recent studies show that modern men face unprecedented attacks on their natural testosterone levels, just like the attacks on truth and freedom. That's why Sculpt Nation has developed Test Boost, a powerful formula to help you maintain your masculine edge in these historic times. While the media elite grovel, you can stand strong. Visit sculptnation.com/NNN, linked below, and save up to 51% off your first order. Don't let them weaken you. Take back your natural power today. We thank our sponsors for making this show possible. One American News reporting just 4 hours ago, Media Research Center VP Dan Schneider with Dan Ball on Real America discussing censorship and the mainstream media. Oh, yes, the party is over, folks.
What a difference a couple weeks makes.
Dan, these radicalized, politicized media companies and their employees, they thought they could get away with abusing their roles, abusing the law, and get away with it because they thought Kamala Harris was going to save them, in fact, reward them for their misdeeds. And when I say misdeeds, I mean both under the law as well as under journalistic ethics rules.
They don't have any of those, Dan, anymore. Sorry. They lost those ethics years ago when Trump came down the escalator, in my book. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, for decades, frankly, we've seen a biased media, but simply being biased, that everybody has their own biases. But what we've seen in modern times is legacy media truly be nothing more than political operatives and abusing those positions and, in fact, engaging in defamation against several people, including President Trump. And now, to their shock, a strong majority of Americans rejected what the media was telling them, the lies the Americans were being fed. And starting with Brendan Carr being designated as the chairman of the FCC, and President Trump will nominate another Republican to replace one of the Democrats, and Brendan Carr will have command of the FCC, and we know what he's going to do because he was, Trump appointed him in his first term, and Brendan was already then trying to take certain actions against big tech and against media. And we've already seen what he said he's going to do with George Soros and the buyout of all these radio stations across America, and what he's going to do with NewsGuard. We all know what NewsGuard is.
Oh, we've told our viewers. They know.
We've also got this, the Democrats from Jen Psaki. She says they're in the wilderness. There's no clear leader. Yes, she's admitting defeat.
The election. Look, I think Democrats are in the wilderness, as you just said before. There is no clear leader of the party. Joe Biden is going to be out of office shortly. Kamala Harris just lost the election. There are a lot of governors and other people who might emerge, maybe people we don't know about yet. Right. But there is no clear leader of the party right now. Look, I think Democrats are in the wilderness.
No clear leader of the party right now. Even Bob Iger's Disney, the entertainment firms, are going to be resuming X advertising after a year-long Elon Musk feud. Yep. Even Bob Iger is signaling defeat. And Daily Beast reporting a source close to Morning Joe claimed the meeting with President-elect Donald Trump was effing worth it, given it may have spurred Trump's subsequent public praise of a free press. Oh, it was worth it, the Daily Beast admitting. Brian Stelter says the temperature has to come down, according to the source. Yes, Brian Stelter even weighing in on this topic. Chicago Tribune, kissing the ring. MSNBC Morning Joe hosts say they met with Trump to reopen lines of communication. MSNBC hosts seemingly reacting to Joe and Mika's meeting at Mar-a-Lago, normalizing Trump's a bad idea. Yeah, Katie Fang. Yeah, she's still in her state of denial over there. Furio Guinta, the left-wing media are cannibalizing. That's right, that's what they're doing. But, of course, we have this. Mocking the media, outnumbered panel slams Mika and Joe over Trump's sit-down. Let's listen into this.
You won't believe this. MSNBC Morning Joe co-host and vicious Donald Trump critics revealed this morning that they met with President-elect Trump at Mar-a-Lago on Friday morning. They did this after conceding that voters overwhelmingly had made their choice.
We were given the opportunity to do just that. Joe and I went to Mar-a-Lago to meet personally with President-elect Trump. It was the first time we have seen him in 7 years.
And it's going to come as no surprise to anybody who watches this show, has watched it over the past year or over the past decade, that we didn't see eye to eye on a lot of issues, and we told him so.
What we did agree on was to restart communications. In this meeting, President Trump was tearful, he was upbeat, he seemed interested in finding common ground with Democrats on some of the most divisive issues. And for those asking why we would go speak to the president-elect during such fraught times, especially between us, I guess I would ask back, why wouldn't we?
So why wouldn't you meet with Donald Trump? I'm thinking really hard. Well, maybe here's why. These are your own words.
The retweeting of neo-Nazi videos, Charlottesville. I could go on and on. What he said about majority black countries. That is tearing more at the fabric of America than attacks on the Twin Towers did. We rebuilt from that. We became stronger because of that. But this seems to me a far graver threat to the idea of America. If Republicans continue this line of thinking, if they continue their support for Donald Trump, they needn't fool themselves. A second Trump administration would destroy the Department of Justice, would destroy the FBI. This is not a reach. I could go back and talk about Nazi Germany, and I do it without any concerns whatsoever. And if people can't start drawing the parallels, well, you're just stupid, or you have your head in the sand, or you're one of them. When you look at a Republican nominee, a potential Republican nominee that's talking about terminating the Constitution, he said, terminate the Constitution, arrest political opponents using the Justice Department, assassinate generals that weren't sufficiently politically loyal to him.
You know what? Enough of those guys. There's no excuse. There is absolutely no excuse for the rhetoric that they spewed for how long? And now they're waltzing into Mar-a-Lago with their hat in their hand, begging for forgiveness because they know that Donald Trump, he is the boss now. And he's going in there with a mandate from the American people. MSNBC's ratings are collapsing. I mean, he's lucky. He's lucky. Mika and Joe, they're lucky that Donald Trump even let them in. Holy cow. What a time to be alive. This is all happening. MSNBC staffers apparently lashing out at Morning Joe co-hosts meeting with Trump. Disgusting, but frankly unsurprising. If you still don't understand that left-wing liberal communist media is anti-American to its core, here's the only proof that you need. MSNBC staffers lashing out. That's from Fox News. Because they know that they are sliding into obscurity because it's been having a conversation with itself. The left-wing fake news media is rapidly sliding into obscurity because it's been having a conversation with itself. It's an echo chamber. Rather than with the American people. The American people know it, even if the news media does not. Let's listen in.
Other places around New Jersey, Minnesota, New Mexico, Virginia, and several other states were 5 points or less that President Trump lost by. These are states that no resources were spent in, no door was knocked on, no TV ad was run. And then you look at the ward in Chicago. You look at my home state, the entire southern tip of Texas, which is, I think, 90% Hispanic majority. You look at other places around the country where we are seeing a complete realignment. We are seeing the American people stand up and say no more. It's not Republican versus Democrat any longer. It is prosperity versus bankruptcy. It is a southern border that is secured versus open, for anyone and everyone to come through, including criminals and murderers and rapists. It's no longer okay. And so when you see that realignment in American politics, the largest in more than 100 years, then I would hope that the editors of these left-leaning organizations would wake up, that they no longer, not only do they not represent the conservative movement, they don't represent 85% of the people in this country.
Oh, they're out of touch, and they are fading fast, and they're just trying to hang on to any last bit of relevancy that they have. But here's Jen Psaki. She still says laws have to change because people are getting information from social media instead of her. Yeah, because people are watching the next news network instead of Jen Psaki. Because nobody trusts Jen Psaki. Okay? She claims there's no fact-checking mechanism. However, on X, they do have community notes. It does better than mainstream media fact-checkers. Let's listen into Raggedy Ann.
One of the things that's changed, even since I got involved in politics, is just the rise of the percentage of people who get their information off of platforms that have no fact-checking mechanism and no accountability for having disinformation spread, right?
Oh, wow.
And as you know well...
Disinformation spread? Oh, my goodness. The fact these people even have the audacity to say this when they've been spreading disinformation for years. 8 straight years they've been spreading disinformation about Trump. 8 straight years.
And when I got started in Democratic politics, most of it was like local TV ads. That was what it was about. Obviously, national TV, local print. Those local TV is held to a higher standard of accountability than social media platforms in terms of having accurate information on their platforms. That is crazy. And so it is, how does it change? How are people held to account? Laws have to change.
I want to ask you about one thing that's gotten some attention this week from the book, which was a story you told about President Biden looking at his watch after caskets had come back from Afghanistan. The story was not told completely accurately, which you've acknowledged. I know some of the folks, including some of the families of those soldiers who were upset by that.
One of the things that's changed.
Circle back, Psaki. Yeah, she's crying because nobody pays attention to her anymore. She has been relegated to obscurity. Oh, but we're learning this. This is very terrifying. A Trump supporter's home in Pennsylvania was burned down, allegedly over a Trump sign in their yard. The owner posted a video last month stating he stopped an earlier arson attempt. Look at this.
Tried to set the house on fire. Like, you're going to light the house up right next to the gas meter, bro? Because of tried to set the house on.
Someone literally tried burning down their house a month ago, and here it is. Now they were successful in setting their house on fire. That is the radical left for you, the tolerant left, because of a Trump sign. But everybody knows it. They're posting on X, Hassan Sajwani. Elon has absolutely killed the mainstream media. We are the media now by CNN. CNN posting its lowest rated Tuesday in critical demo in 24 years. CNN posts worst Tuesday performance among key demographics since the Clinton administration. That's how bad it is. Oh yes, you can kiss his ring, but we will never forget Joe and Mika. Oh, the internet lives forever. And we will always remember the nasty things that you repeatedly said about our president and about MAGA and about Trump supporters. We will never forget. So you can go, you can kiss the ring, you can polish the doorknobs, you can clean his shoes, You can do the dishes at Mar-a-Lago, but we will never forget Mika. But of course, the clucks over at The View, they just can't hold back. You know, you do know that they're actually shopping for more pro-Trump voices on The View. Well, here's what they just said recently.
You know, I'm not saying, he says that folks see everything through the lens of racism and sexism. Not everything. But if you're not seeing racism and sexism in America, then you need to clean your lenses.
But
because, I
need to clean your lenses, huh? Yeah, sure. They're going to continue to spew all that nonsense over there. I don't know why they're still on the air. Look at this meme here. Look at this beautiful meme. Mika and Joe went to Mar-a-Lago so they could declare, look at me. Donald Trump as the Don. Look at him. There you go. Meanwhile, Hunter Biden was spotted at Disneyland. Wonder what he was doing there. Yeah, I'm sure we're going to have a lot of creepy comments regarding that. Hunter Biden going to Disneyland. Creepy, creepy, creepy. Megyn Kelly, though, she's responding to the Morning Joe. Oh, wow. Let's listen.
I searched for a way to respond appropriately, and I called on my 10 years as a litigator in addition to my now 20 as a journalist, and I think I found the perfect phrase, go fuck yourselves. Go fuck yourselves, you dishonest jokes of faux journalists. What an absurd farce that was, Glenn. Which one was insincere? He's Hitler? Or now we're going to speak truth to power and find a way of speaking to and working with Donald Trump? Which one was a lie?
You know, Megan, I've thought about this. This is not hyperbole. I've given actual thought to this. I've done rankings. Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski are the most humiliated and pathetic people in all of corporate media. And I realize there's a lot of serious contenders for that crown. So if other people have someone they want to slot number one, I wouldn't necessarily say it's unreasonable. But the thing about them is, unlike other people in the media who have been completely unhinged about Trump being Hitler, Trump being in bed with Putin, the Steele, all of that, those people actually believe it. Like, they're that insane.
Wow, Megyn Kelly dropping a double F-bomb. So the spectacle of Morning Joe's Mar-a-Lago pilgrimage, it tells us everything we need to know about the state of the mainstream media. They're not just losing, they are surrendering. Disney crawling back to X, Jen Psaki admitting defeat, and now this. But here's what I want you to ponder in our comment section. Can we ever trust these media figures again? Or is this just another tactical retreat before their next attack? And speaking of making statements, our new MAGA Avenger gear, well, it's flying off the shelves over at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Link down below. Each shirt commemorates this historic new administration. So wear it proudly. Let everyone know you witnessed the moment of truth when we finally prevailed over propaganda.